Your goal after watching this video is to know what a trapezoid is and how to calculate its area. So first, what is a trapezoid? Lately we've been talking about parallelograms, so we're going to compare the two. All right? As you can see, both trapezoids and parallelograms have four sides. The difference in trapezoids and parallelograms is that parallelograms, as we talked about, have exactly two sets of parallel lines. So each of these parallelograms over here have one set of parallel lines, lines that never get closer together, and a second set of parallel lines. And we could do that for all of these parallelograms. If we look at trapezoids, though, we see that just like parallelograms, here's one set of parallel lines. Those lines will never get closer together. They will never intersect. However, the second set of lines is not parallel because, as you can see, these lines get closer and closer together and eventually intersect. So trapezoid then only has one set of parallel lines. Take a minute to get that written down. Pause the video if you need more time. I'm going to go on. Okay. So our goal today is not just to know what a trapezoid is, but to calculate its area. Remember from our area scavenger hunt that no matter what shape you have, area always means you're telling me how many little squares will cover its surface, how many square units. So to find area of a trapezoid, remember when we find it, we're going to have units squared, or inches squared, or meters squared, something squared, because we're talking about area and how many squares cover its surface. So to find the area of a trapezoid, this formula is the most complicated one we're talking about this chapter, but if you break it down, it's not that complicated at all. So first thing we do when we see an expression or equation is we look at order of operations. So groups are first. So what this group is saying is take the two bases, the two parallel sides, and add them together. So add the two parallel sides together. They call them base 1 and base 2. That's why we have this little B1 and B2 over here. Could you switch them? Could you make this one base 2 and this one base 1? Yeah. All right, you're just adding them together. So the order you add them isn't going to change your answer. All right. Then after you add the bases, together, you're going to take them times the height. Then whatever the bases times the height are, you're going to take half of that. So let's see what that looks like with a few real numbers. So find the area of each trapezoid. Let's start with part A. To find the area of a trapezoid, we take half of, or half times, the height times the sum of both bases. Okay? So first, let's find our bases. Our bases are the two parallel lines. So this line and this line are parallel. So we're going to add those together. Base 1, let's say it's 9. And base 2, we'll make that 5 feet. Could we switch it around and do 5 feet plus 9 feet? Absolutely. All right. Once we add those two, we're going to multiply by the height. Height is a line perpendicular to the base. It forms a right angle with the base, so the height is 6 feet. We're going to take 6 feet times our bases added together. And after we do that, we're going to take that number times half. All right, so I'm going to start in the group. I'm going to say, okay, 9 feet plus 5 feet is 13 feet. Just kidding, 14 feet. Just wanted to see if you were paying attention. 14 feet. All right, so this is our bases added together, 14 feet. We are going to take that times our height of 6 feet. All right, so 6 feet times 14 feet is 84 feet squared, because we're taking feet times feet, 84 feet squared. Then we need half of that. So what is half of, or half times, 84 feet? Last time I checked, 42 feet squared. Some of you might be thinking, why did I multiply these two together before I did a half? You could have done a half first if you wanted. So you could have done half of 6, which is 3 feet, and then done 3 feet times 14 feet. Make sure you get that one written down. Pause if you need to go back and re-listen to figure out what I did. If you have questions, make sure you write those down as well. We're going to calculate the area of this trapezoid. Okay, again, it's a trapezoid because it has two sets of parallel sides. The other side, over here, the lines are getting closer and closer together, so those are not parallel. Get rid of those. All right. So for part B over here, I'm going to start by writing my formula. Area equals 1/2 times height times the sum of the bases. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is add my bases together. My bases are the two parallel sides. So 11.5 plus 8.5 meters. 11.5 plus 8.5, and that's meters and meters. We're going to, after we add those, we're going to take those times the height of 5 meters, and then we're going to take half of all that. Order of operations, do it in the group first. So 11.5 plus 8.5. 11.5 meters plus 8.5 meters gives us 20 meters. All right, now we still have to take 5 meters times that and half of that. So you can go in whatever order you want. You can take 1/2 times 5 first if you want. I like to take my height times the sum of my bases first. So 5 meters times 20 meters is 100 meters squared. Meter times meter. And half of that, or half of 100 meters squared, half times 100 meters squared is 50 meters squared. Pause if you need more time. Going to do one more example. Find the area of a trapezoid on a grid. So again, ladies and gentlemen, area is the number of square units that cover a shape. So we could start by trying to estimate the area of this trapezoid and say, how many square units is that? So I could say, that's a whole square. So there's 1, 2, 3 whole squares. Maybe I could put this one and this one together to make 4. And this one together to make 5. And maybe these 3 together could make a 6th square. And these 2 could make a 7th. And these 2 could make an 8th. All right, so if I estimate it, I see 8 units squared, which kind of helps me. So I'm pretty sure it's not going to be this one. That one looks pretty far off. However, we want to calculate the exact area of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for my parallel sides. All right, those are my bases. And this side is 1 unit. And this side over here is 2 units. Okay? Then I need to find my height. Remember that height is a line that is perpendicular to the base. So I'm going to look at my base right here, and my height is this line right there. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my height is 6 units. If you have questions on that, raise your hand right now and I'll come help you if you have questions on how I got any of those. So then, area of a trapezoid. Take 1/2 times the height times the sum of both bases. Okay, so first, our bases. 2 and 1. 2 units plus 1 unit. We're going to take that times the height, which is 6 units. And then we're going to take all of that times half. All right, so always start with what's in the group. If you can, 2 units plus 1 more unit is 3 units. So now I'm going to either take 1/2 times 6. If you want to do that first, you can. 1/2 of 6 is 3. So you're going to end up doing 3 units times 3 units. Or if you're me, you might do 6 times 3 first. 6 units times 3 units is 18 units squared. 1/2 of 18 units squared is 9 units squared, which is answer C. This is the hardest polygon that we're finding area of, so if you have questions